Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Lawrence Stone, the basic trainer, and I'm so happy to be talking to you about personality styles. So, in the level that I'm at with Toastmasters in their training modules, is I'm learning about personality styles, which was great and fantastic for me because I love studying personality styles. I am a certified DISC behavioral consultant through the John Maxwell Leadership Organization, and looking at people's communication styles and their personality styles and helping people communicate better is a big part of what I do. I love working with leadership teams so they communicate with their employees better. I love helping salespeople and customer relation people communicate with their customers better. And what I'm going to talk to you about today is a big part of that and helping out with that. Now, I took an assessment through the Toastmasters website and it gave you 4 personality style options: direct, initiating, supportive, and analytical. And it came back that I was actually tied with direct and initiating. And as I went through the descriptions, I noticed something, that these categories were very similar in what I teach in DISC and the DISC personality profiles. Now, DISC originally originated back with William Marston back in the 1920s, I think 1928. And the 4 categories he placed people's personalities were dominant, influential, steady, and compliant. And when I look at my DISC personality profile, my number 1 personality style is influence or influential. And so basically there was a kind of a tie there. Now I trust the disc one more because it is more in depth. And my second, if you consider like a combination, my second highest one was actually steady with the S. In Toastmasters, it was supportive. And so there was a little bit of difference between those two, but also I'm growing as a person, and sometimes changes happen in your life as you make adaptations. But again, I trust the disc more because it is more, it's more profound. It has more questions. It goes deeper. Now, my purpose in this presentation is to teach you the 4 different personality styles, and then how you can communicate with each personality style to increase your influence with the person that you're trying to communicate with. So let's jump into it. You see that here we have the 4 different personality styles, and I want you to think about this box and remember this box consistently. You notice that D's and S's are opposite of each other, and I's and C's are opposite of each other. But we're also going to categorize them a little bit together. So if you look at the bottom 2, the S's and C's, they are more introverted. They're more reserved. Versus the D's and I's are more outgoing, extroverted. They are the ones that want to be out in front of people and talking to people. Then you go to the left side, we have the D's and the C's. These people are more task-oriented. They want to get the job done. They want things to be efficient. Versus the I's and S's are more people-oriented. We care about people. How is this going to affect people's lives? An example I share with people is you go to someone, you want them to fix a computer. If you're going to an I or an S personality, I need you to fix this computer so that so-and-so can use it and it runs more efficiently for them. Okay, we're helping this person. You go to a D and a C, they say, I need you to fix this computer because we need it to run more efficiently so we can get more work done. They're more task-oriented. So you can already see how these different communication styles need to be understood so you know how to communicate to them better. Words you use, the way you explain things are going to motivate them differently. Now, these are the different personality indicators that we're going to go off, and we're going to talk about each of them individually and how to communicate with them. So the first personality profile we're going to talk about are the D personalities. D personalities are your decision makers. They're naturally drawn towards leadership positions, authority positions. People look at them as authority figures. They're very open to change. They're very comfortable with that change if they need to make it. As long as they know it's more efficient, they're going to make that change. They treasure loyalty as well. They keep their friends very close to them. And with the D personality, a lot of times in Hollywood, they're kind of portrayed as the bad guys because they can be a little more abrasive. They're more blunt. They're more direct. They're more to the point, and they will take on confrontation. If you want to go up against a D personality, be ready because they will take you on. And because of that more abrasive personality, people are afraid of them. Now, with the D personality, you need to be direct. Don't waste their time. because they're looking for efficiency. They're able to talk to people and they're extroverted, but they also don't want to waste time. Their biggest fear is being taken advantage of. I'd even go to the step of loss of control. They want to know that everything's taken care of, that everything's in control. Sometimes they tend to micromanage as a result of that. And yeah, they can be a little more abrasive to make sure that things are in order and things are in control. But in the end, they get things done. They're great leaders and they're great people to help make decisions. As a result of that, you can probably think of different D personalities that are famous. The poster child is Donald Trump. But you also have people like Simon Cowell, Bobby Knight, Michael Jordan. Darth Vader would be a good example of D personality. Also, I do believe Princess Leia is a D personality as well. And then in the Harry Potter world, your Slytherins are typically a D personality. From there, we go to the I personalities, the influential. These people love talking. Anyone with an I personality, they love interacting with people. They love sharing stories. They're great at human relations and customer interactions. They're great at telling stories. They're encouraging people. They want to uplift people. Their big fear is loss of approval, though. And because they want your approval so badly, they will brag about themselves. They're very egotistical a lot of times. And they keep sharing, and they talk a lot. The D, where you have to be direct and to the point. I's, you have to give them time to talk. Let them tell their stories. Give them feedback on how neat that story is. They want you to be impressed by them. They don't want to lose your approval. So let them know that they have your approval when you're communicating with them. And give them time to talk. A lot of performers are I personalities. Famous I personalities are Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, Walt Disney. Walt Disney, it's interesting, with I personalities, one thing you'll notice with them is they also tend to be more disorganized. And so you notice that's kind of the opposite of a C when we talk about the C who likes to be very organized. But they tend to be more disorganized. John F. Kennedy Jr., Han Solo, kind of an egocentric type person. Gryffindors, show-offs, but also very much people want to be accepted by people, want to interact with people. We move on to the S personality styles. This is the most common one you're going to run into. So if you're uncertain, if you guess that they're an S, you're most likely going to be right, more than half the time. They tend to be more easygoing and agreeable. They're opposite of D's, where D's like to be confrontational, S's do not. S's like to feel safe. They like to feel secure. They are very resistant to change, but they're also great listeners. They're introverted, but they're people-oriented, and they're great observers of people. They're very compassionate towards people, very empathic. So an S personality very much cares about people. When you are dealing with an S personality, you want their feedback because they are great observers of people. But they're only going to give it to you if they feel safe. If they feel like you're going to reprimand them, you're going to bully them, you're going to yell at them, you're going to be abrasive towards them, they're going to keep their mouth shut because they don't want that. But you need that from them because they have great input and great feedback for you. Famous S personalities include Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Michael J. Fox, David Beckham, Luke Skywalker. Causes are very important to them. Hufflepuffs. I notice I don't have a president on this. As I think about presidents, I think Jimmy Carter. He's someone who cares a lot about people with his work with Habitat for Humanity. I could see him as an S personality. Then you have your C personalities. No sugarcoating it. The way C personalities are is they're basically your typical nerds. They like processes. They like steps. They like following rules. Unlike the I personalities that are kind of scattered and I'll skip a step here and there. When C's skip a step or see someone skipping a step, they freak out. You can't skip that step because they're worried about getting something wrong. They're worried about being criticized. And so they have to follow all the steps to make sure that they're not going to be criticized, that they get everything right. A lot of times these people tend to be engineers, scientists. They are very process-driven, computer programmers, even accountants. They like following the processes. They don't need to interact with people. You can put them in a room, give them processes and steps to do it, and they'll be happy all day. They don't need to interact with people. They just need to get the job done and make sure it's done right. Some famous, and like I mentioned, with communicating with the C, Give them direct instructions, but also allow them time to ask you questions, because the way they're processing things is there's steps, especially if you're an I personality, you're going to skip steps that they need. And so make sure you give them time to ask you questions so you can fill in the blanks so that they have all the steps they need to get the process done. Now going on to the famous C personalities. You have Albert Einstein, Bill Gates, Clint Eastwood, Richard Nixon, C3PO, and then obviously your Ravenclaws. So divided by house, there's your disc personality style as well. It's important to understand these styles so you know how to communicate and connect with people better. I think John Maxwell said it the best when he said connecting increases your influence in every situation. We need to be able to influence people for good reasons and to do good things. And if you want to influence them, you need to be able to connect with them. And you can connect with them better by identifying what their personality style is and communicating with them in a way that they will connect, that they will understand, and they will find reasonable. So I challenge you, go out, first try to figure out what yours is. The best way to figure it out, again, is take the assessment. The assessment will give you the best and clearest information. Take the assessment. But even without it, try to observe people and see if you can figure out what they are so you can connect with them better. And that will help you increase your influence and help you be better as a leader, as a salesperson, and as an overall human being. Thank you.